What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Funboxing with Will. I am your host, Will, with H2O Co. Film and Photo. And today we're going to be getting into a review of a product I'm really excited to get my hands on. We're going to be doing a review on the Mavic Mini 2. So let's get into that. Alrighty, well, like I said, today we're going to be getting into a review of the Mavic Mini 2. I've been waiting for a couple months for this one to come out. I'm really excited about the release of it. Before we get into the review, though, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you find any of this information that I have in this video at all useful or interesting, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bells to get notifications, because I've heard that subscriptions don't really count for a lot. It's really when you hit that notification bell that you'll see my content come up, and it'll give you a little notification that I'm doing a new review. I really appreciate all you guys out there. You guys are the reason I do these reviews, and I just wanted to say thank you. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into this review now. So as you guys may have known, if you've been following my channel, I did a review on the Mavic Mini about 8 months ago. When it first came out, I went down and picked up the Fly More kit. And I believe it was $3.99 for the Fly More kit. It may have been $4.99. I'll have to check my video. It's been a while since I picked it up. But at the time, it was the most compact portable drone on the market. It shot in 2.7K. It did a lot of amazing things for especially the size and not having to be registered with the FAA. I was really excited to have it. I still have it. Actually, my next video is probably going to be a comparison video between the Mini 2 and the DJI Mavic Mini. But just going into today, we're going to just be specifically talking about the Mini 2. Some of the advancements they've made on it and how it's turned out to be one of the best drones out there. And I would go as far as to say it is the most transportable, easy to take with you compact drones on the market right now, that can do, I'd say, a good 80% of what the Mavic Air 2 can do. So it's definitely an amazing buy. I wouldn't have spent the money for the upgrade if I didn't think it was worth it. And so I just wanted to show you guys the difference. So identically designed, it's almost identical. The measurements on this thing are so close that I believe the prop guards for the original Mavic Mini, which do not come with the Fly More kit with the DJI Mini 2, they fit the DJI Mini 2, as well as the old batteries from the Mini are usable in the Mini 2. Now, you cannot use the Mini 2's batteries into the Mini. I'm assuming it's because they have newer battery tech in those batteries, and for some reason they're not backwards compatible. But the old ones do work in the new system here. So that has been very amazing. I think they added an extra minute to the flight time too. Instead of 30 minutes, now it's 31 minutes. I don't know if that's a very noticeable difference at all, but the drone itself, dynamic and design-wise, I feel like it's identical. I've put them next to each other, and I will do a more in-depth comparison probably next week in my next video. But yeah, they're almost identical. I've noticed a couple cosmetic changes on the Mini 2. One, the lens on the camera now says 4K. You can't really see it because I have my ND filter on my lens on my drone gimbal there, but it does say 4K on the drone itself. The props are a lot thicker than the original Minis. I believe that has something to do with the lower noise that you pull from this drone. It is nowhere near as loud as the DJI Mini was. I'd say it's almost about half the octave level or the decibel level than the Mini. Also, as far as physical changes, the light in the rear back end is now a button that when you press, it will tell you how much battery life you have. Originally, it was the power button that you'd do that. You'd press the power button once, it would tell you how much juice was in the battery. You press it twice really fast, and on the second press, you'd hold it down, and that was what would start the drone up. Now you don't have to touch the power button at all to get that battery life indicator. You just press that bottom light in the back there. They've also added a front light that is programmable up to, I believe, 8 different colors, and then 4 different categories of lighting. So there's breathing, there's pulse, there's solid, and there's a strobe or something like that. Those things, they're not really something that I would have went out and spent the money for on this drone. Considering this is a $599 package for the Fly More kit. It's $448 for just the drone itself and the controller with 1 battery. Now the Fly More kit, it came with 6 extra props, it came with the battery dock, and it came with 2 extra batteries, 1 in the unit and 2 in the charger. So a total of 3 batteries, which at 31 minutes a piece leads you to about an hour and a half fly time with this drone. Now, getting into some of the upgrades, the main upgradable feature, the main reason I spent the extra $300 on this drone, because I found a buyer for my Mini for $300 for the Fly More kit. So when all is said and done, I will have sold the Mini, I will have picked up the Mini 2, and I will have paid a total of about $300 for the upgrade. And it's worth it to me, because one of my favorite things on this drone that they fixed was now they use OcuSync 2.0. If you have the DJI Mavic Air 2, you will be familiar with this newer controller. As far as I'm aware, this Mini 2 and the Air 2 are the only 2 drones DJI has produced thus far that use this controller. But the controller itself is leaps and bounds above the smaller old school controller I've found for my personal use. The ergonomics on it, I know it looks a lot clunkier, it looks heavier, it looks bigger, and in some aspects that is true. It is bigger, it is clunkier a little bit. But I actually like it. I have very big hands, and so those smaller controllers on the old school drones, they weren't very ego-friendly to me. I couldn't get a good grip on them. I always felt like I was going to drop them. Also, I did not like the monitor being below the controller. And with this, you mount, the antenna is actually hidden in the controller mount. So you take your cell phone and you put your cell phone in here, and then that's your screen, and this also doubles as the OcuSync antenna, which is a very useful feature. Also, something I love about this controller, I despised about the old controller, was the connection cords. On the old controller, you had a free-floating cord with you everywhere you went once you tore down your controller. This one, it keeps it nice and packed inside of this antenna slot, so when you close the antenna / phone holder, your cord's in there. It never has to be unplugged from the controller on at least the one end, and I've never lost it because of that fact. So I absolutely love what they did with this controller, and the OcuSync 2.0 itself is an amazing technology. From what I understand, instead of using a Wi-Fi signal like the Mavic Mini, the Mavic Pro, the Zoom, all of these older drones, the OcuSync 2.0 uses dual band radio frequencies. So the dual band radio frequency has a further range than Wi-Fi would, and it also has a more reliable connection because it's dual band. If one radio wave starts to drop below a tolerable signal, the other one can take its place and counteract for it. So it's a lot less likely for you to have disconnections or transmission loss with the OcuSync 2.0, which is the main reason I upgraded, because 2 miles is a good distance to fly with a drone, especially a drone of this small, light weight. But at the end of the day, transmission wasn't the greatest with the Wi-Fi. Sometimes a big tree would be between me and the controller, and I would get warnings of signal interference, and on rare occasions I would get skippy footage and even lose connection with the RC drone, which would in turn force it into a return to home mode. And if I was out planning a shot and it gets forced into return to home, all of a sudden I have to go back, line up my shot again, and go through all that hassle again, which can be a hassle, especially if you're getting low on battery life. So I love the fact that they put the OcuSync 2.0 in here. Another feature that they put in this drone that I absolutely adore is, I don't know whether it's a new motor. I did notice some differences between the motors on this and the original Mini, but it has a level 5 wind resistance now, which is upwards of 28 miles an hour from the conversion I did from the kilometers per hour that they advertise on the box. It's about the same amount of wind resistance as the Mavic Air 2 is. So that is something I am super pleased with. Now, even at 250 grams, I'm not concerned that on a slightly strong breeze in the middle of an afternoon, I'm going to lose my drone, or that it's not going to be able to make it back to me. I've taken it out, tested the range a little bit. I'm going to show you some footage here in a minute of that. And I've also done just some wind tests with it on heavier winded days, and it's pulled through pretty well. I have not noticed any drift in it. It seems to be amazing. So those are the two main reasons. They also did upgrade the camera to a 4K camera. I was satisfied with the 2.7K camera that I had in there. But I mean, who can beat 4K? If I can get 4K, I'm not going to say no, you know? So, excuse me, I need a drink. And part of the camera being identically the same to the Mini was a good thing, because I have a ton of variable ND filters for my Mini. They ran me about $50 to $100. I was really concerned that when this new drone came out and I purchased it, I was going to have to drop another $50 to $100 on more ND filters. But luckily for me, they didn't change the profile of the camera at all, so my ND filters even attach perfectly to the Mini. And I have yet to get any motor gimbal warnings, gimbal overload warnings, anything like that. So it seems to work very well for that. I love this new drone. I can't say enough good things about it. I got a little bit of test footage. I apologize if the audio isn't exactly where I'd like it to be. It was outdoors that I took this footage. But I'm going to cut to that now. I'm going to show you the test flight that I did with the drone, and some screenshots from the screen capture. So, alrighty guys, so I went ahead and, sorry about that, I went ahead and brought out the Mini out here. I've got my GoPro rolling as well, so I can get like a couple different views of what's going on here. This is just basically a test flight to see how well she handles, see how quiet the propellers are and the props are. You know, just test everything out. We're going to be doing just a flight test on not really so much distance. I'll take it out a little ways, but I'm going to follow my line of eyesight laws and stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up the Mini now. We'll turn it on and we'll do that flight test, decibel level check and all that, see how it handles. I was really shocked. I put on a variable lens ND filter from my Mavic Mini, and it seems to be working just fine. So that was quite the surprise that they fit this camera. So. Sitting here waiting for a satellite image, or satellite signal. As soon as we get that satellite signal, there it goes. Alrighty. So as you can see and hear, it is a pretty quiet drone there, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, pretty damn quiet drone. Seems to handle fairly well as well, so that's a good sign too. Basically, this is just a stability test, just a little bit of a range test. It's super quiet as opposed to the old DJI Mavic Mini. I own that one. I'm going to be doing a comparison video here shortly on the decibel levels. I did one of those comparison videos to the Mavic Air 2 and the Mini. So this one's just going to be, the next one coming out is going to be the Mini versus the Mini 2. We're going to do a decibel level count and see how much quieter this engine really is, or I'm sorry, these props really are. So yeah. Start my screen recording over here. And it looks like we're recording, so we're going to go out for a flight. And this is with a 16 ND filter on. So. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in normal mode here. I'm going to switch it over to sports mode. And we will see what we can get here. So, now I'm keeping it within visual line of sight, mind you, so I'm not going to be going very far. I have taken it out towards the mountains a little bit and did a little bit more of a significant test as far as a range test went. I didn't push it though. Again, I like to follow the laws. So until I can find a spotter to come out and pretty much park down the road and, you know, help me monitor the drone itself, I'm not going to be able to do a real forward range test. But if this is anything like the Air 2, which I own and have done a good distance test on that one, which they say it's the same OcuSync 2.0 system that is in that drone as well. So if that is the case, then yeah, I don't see this thing having any issues going 4 miles out. It's standard, it's set for a 6-mile distance, but that's like pushing it to the max. So I have noticed though a significant change between OcuSync and Wi-Fi. With my Wi-Fi on the Mavic Mini, sometimes even a big tree just being between me and the drone would cause it to lose interference or have interference in the signal, and it would cause some like skipping in my frames and stuff, and just some disconnect sometimes. It would have to, it would start to return to home before I'd have to cancel it once it got connected again. But this doesn't seem to have any lagging, doesn't seem to have any skipping in the footage. So all around, I would definitely be a promoter for the OcuSync 2.0. It seems to work very well, so I am pleased with that. Plus, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I never owned one of the older drones before the Mavic Mini came out. That was the very first drone I owned, actually. I'm assuming that all the controllers were like the original Mavic Mini's controller, where it was a bottom-mounted screen, and that it was, you know, just in general, it was that old-school remote controller setup. And the Mini came out, and then the Mavic Air 2 came out with this new controller, and now they're copying the Mavic Air 2 and they're working on the Mini 2 and utilizing that same controller. Now, I personally, I love this new controller. I've had both. And the smaller controller was just an all-around pain in the butt. It was hard to get the cords locked in it, and when you had the connection cable, I lost that thing like 2 or 3 times. I had to buy a new connection cable. So that was a huge pain in the butt, having to buy a new connection cable for the controller. This one has it incorporated underneath the antenna, which doubles as the phone mount. So I really do like this controller a lot better than the original Mavic Mini's controller. And I really am looking forward to them using these controllers and utilizing these in the future with all their other drones. So, as far as the distance check goes, a range test, it's been doing pretty well. Like I said, I saw a single skip there, I think for a split second, and it was about a 1/4 mile away. I'm gonna take it up to the water tower real quick. From where I'm at, this is generally the farthest I can go and still see the drone, you know, and follow the law. But this is a good, I'd say 1/2 mile, I think, maybe. We'll see on the distance here. Maybe it's not that far, but I know it is quite a ways from my house. It takes me about 10 minutes to walk there, maybe 7 minutes, something like that. So it's about 1,000 feet away from my house, which is close to a 1/2 mile. And so this is the Mini. No transmission loss, like I said. Oh, there, right when I say that, it goes ahead and skips a little bit on me. But I mean, for as far as it is, and all the obstacles, I have so many huge trees between me and the drone right now. That's actually, I find that to be still very good connection-wise. So, yeah, no issues getting to the water tower and back. So. It seems to be very accurate with response and very, very touchy, just like the Mavic Air 2 is. I don't want to say touchy, more of a very responsive. That would be the term I'd use. See how close I can get it to the mic. Okay, so that's fairly close. That's within a foot of the microphone, and it's, again, not that loud. It's at least half as quiet, or yeah, twice as quiet as the Mavic Mini original. I love it. At 100 feet, I can't even hear it. Alrighty guys, well we're gonna get back into the studio, so I hope you enjoyed watching that little test flight of the Mini 2. Alrighty, so yeah, we're back in the studio. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is definitely worth the upgrade if you guys are looking for something a little bit more durable, a little bit more capable in, you know, high winds, and if you're definitely looking for that longer range in a drone, I would definitely go with this. It also came with a nice little carry strap. I have it across the room, otherwise I'd show you guys, but it's a really nifty little carry strap that the first Mini did not come with, and I never really liked carrying the Mini around anywhere, even though it's boasted to be this portable drone, and they are portable. I mean, the profile on them is super small. I'll fold this one up and show you. It's smaller than my cell phone, honestly, but until this drone was released, I never liked taking any of my drones anywhere because the propeller props, especially on the Minis that don't have the quick release props, they're always flapping around everywhere, and it just never felt like a solid item. It always felt like I was worried that something would break off in a bag, or you know, something like that could happen, even with the gimbal cover on it. But now that they have this new strap that goes over the entire unit, it literally holds the propellers down perfectly like that. And then with the gimbal guard on top of it, I would totally feel comfortable throwing this drone in my pocket or in the back of a backpack and hiking up a hill with it. I wouldn't have any reservations about that at all. Whereas even in the packaging and the case that they came with the Mini, I kind of didn't like carrying it around just because of the fact that the props were always free floating, and I always felt like one of them was going to snap off at any given time. That could just be my paranoia, but I like to baby my gear. I spend a lot of money on these things, like I've said in previous videos. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Every opinion you hear on my video is 100% authentic opinion from a user who has used the product. I've never been sent anything to review from anybody. I mean, obviously, I'm only at 150 subscribers. So I've spent my own money on everything that I've reviewed for you guys. And so I just personally, I baby my gear. I baby the hell out of it. I keep boxes that I probably don't need. I have all my boxes for all my DJI drones. I have all my serial numbers written down. I'm just very meticulous like that. So, yeah, as far as that goes, I'm super happy with this new drone. I absolutely adore it. I feel like I can carry it around with me and take it places, which means I'm going to carry it with me, which means I'm going to get footage that I normally wouldn't have gotten because I wouldn't have had my drone on me. So if, again, you're looking for something super portable, super capable, and now a little beefier, it can handle some wind and stuff now, and some distance, with a 6-mile range on this thing now with the OcuSync 2.0, I would definitely go ahead and upgrade from the Mini if I were you. But yeah, that's about it for today. Next week, like I said, I'm going to be doing a comparison video to the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Mini 2. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a great evening. Stay safe, and above all, stay creative, my friends. We need more of that in this world. Have a great night.